Urban Artificial Intelligence, Strategic Thinking Media Platform. Julio Foolio trial. This is going viral, man. This is a crazy situation. Most people know the story already, man. I think it was 5 or 6 young people. They drove from Jacksonville to Tampa to stalk and kill Julio Foolio on his birthday weekend. So all these people are from Jacksonville, and just to make a long story short, these people are affiliated with ATK, who is Youngest Ace, the other Jacksonville, big time Jacksonville rapper. They're affiliated with ATK, his clique. All right, now they're not in ATK. These people aren't Young and Ace's friends who he's riding around with every day. Which some bloggers are making it seem like that. That's not the case. These are people who are loosely affiliated with ATK. So they may have friends who are in ATK, or they may be in gangs that branched off from ATK. Either way, this is the point. And this is very unfortunate, but Julio Foolio offended a lot of people. Okay, when Julio Foolio made raps, when he made songs, when he dissed the dead, I think a lot of people focused on Young and Ace, and they talked about how he dissed Young and Ace. Julio Foolio dissed a lot of people. He dissed a lot of gangs. A lot of the people whose names he was saying, they just wasn't as famous as Young and Ace. But he dissed way more people than Young and Ace. So it wasn't like these guys were, the only people that the police were looking at was ATK. That was the front facing group that was his enemies. Yes, but Julio Foolio dissed a lot of people. All right, he dissed a lot of deceased people. He had songs where it would be maybe 10 or 15 people in one song. So throughout his career, he dissed a lot of deceased people. So the gangs that they were in, the gangs that were affiliated with them, they don't forget stuff like that, man. And this seems like it was one of those situations, man. Now, the main figure in this who went viral is the female Alicia Andrews. That's the girlfriend of Isaiah Chance, or Gutta Zay. Isaiah Chance and the shooters were affiliated with ATK and 1200, which is a rival of the gang that Julio Foolio represents. Was that the motive? I think that was the motive. A lot of people are saying other things. A lot of people are saying some different crazy stuff that I'm not going to get into here, but I think that's what it is, man. I don't think it was any deeper than that. I think it was just those were guys from a rival gang. Again, all these gangs that start, they have different branches. They break off. So you could start a gang, and then somebody from that gang could start another gang. So he's in two simultaneous gangs. So he's in two gangs at the same time. And then the second gang that he's in, that gang could break off. So and so on and so forth, to where it's just this chain of cliques and gangs where they all hang around each other, they all know each other. So if you kill one person from one, if there's a bag on your head, all these other mini sub gangs know that. So these could be people who young they may not even know Young and Ace, but they feel like, number one, they could get revenge in case this is somebody who Julio Foolio dissed. They know somebody Julio Foolio dissed. Or number two, they might want to get on the radar for Young and Ace. They know he Young and Ace top op. They might want to get on the radar for Young and Ace. You never know the reason that they do this. Now, Alicia Andrews, the girlfriend of Gutta Zay, her and Gutta Zay and Gutta Zay's younger brother, or another affiliate, I'm not sure which one, they drove around and they tracked Julio Foolio all throughout the night until they found him, back then at a hotel. That's when they decided to ambush him and start shooting. Now, Isaiah Chance or Alicia Andrews, I don't think either of them were the shooters. I think they were just the guys who were going to track Julio Foolio. Alicia Andrews' defense is that she didn't know a crime was happening. She didn't know they was tracking Julio Foolio. She just thought her and her boyfriend was going out of town on a romantic getaway. All right. Now, that's a pretty weak defense in my opinion. All right. And this is just a cautionary tale to young people. If you plan on being part of a crime where somebody dies, or anything where somebody could die, you should be prepared to get charged with murder, because that's how they're gonna look at it. All right. Now, she got charged with manslaughter, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But you can't be involved in a murder, but then distance yourself, thinking, well, just because I wasn't the trigger man, that doesn't mean that, that means that I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have nothing to do with it. The evidence says that she did. Again, the jury found her guilty of manslaughter. They didn't find her guilty of murder. They didn't find her guilty of felony murder, which is great for her. Um, Depending on how she may be out when she's still in her 20s, which is definitely a win for her. But she went viral just because of her attitude. A lot of people were saying that this was a win, and then a lot of people were saying, what did she win? This is not a win. This is not a win. Obviously, going to jail is not a win. But for her involvement in this crime, y'all, that is a win. She was involved in this crime from the very beginning to the very end. And she's still going to be in her 20s when she's released. That is a win. Now, the police have evidence of them being tracked from when they left Jacksonville all the way to Tampa. They have license plate readers going all the way down the highway. Again, man, it's just not worth it to do crime. I say this in all my videos. This is a strategic thinking media platform, so we think strategically about the world around us. But this definitely is not a platform where I glorify crime. Crime is not smart to do, especially in this day and age where they have things like license plate readers, which they used here. They tracked them all the way from Jacksonville to Tampa. Every time they stopped, once they got to the Airbnb, it's all on camera. Everything is on camera. It's so many cameras everywhere. Every time you get out of your car and you walk into a store, you're probably on camera 6 or 7 times just in that interaction. So they was able to track them all the way, and it was a 2-car convoy. So again, Alicia Andrews trying to act like she didn't know what was going on when they track her tailing the murder vehicle the whole way from Jacksonville to Tampa. I would think it would take a tougher defense than that, but it clearly didn't. She was only charged with manslaughter. Now, the police also have evidence of Alicia Andrews' phone contacting one of the shooter's phones as early as 10 minutes before the ambush. If you look at the video of the Julio Foolio shooting, they tore that place the fuck up. They shot that place up. Apparently, and I don't know if we could see this from our video angle, but apparently it was a busy hotel lobby behind them. It kind in the video, it kind of looked like they were on the side, but it was a busy hotel lobby right behind them. So they kind of were right in front of or they were right behind, depending on what angle you're looking at. They were either right behind or in front of a lot of family activity, where a lot of where you pay for the hotel, where you sit and wait for people, where you come in and come out of the hotel. So that was the defense went real hard on that, just talking about how much shots were let off, how public the area was. Again, maybe because it's at night and the angle of the camera, it looks like it's kind of a secluded area. You could tell it's a parking lot, but they were kind of right in front of the entrance. All right, so that was a big deal. The sentencing is going to be, I think, in December. It's going to be on December 8th. The sentencing is going to be on December 8th. The guys are going to get cooked. I don't know what's going to happen with her specifically, but the guys are going to get absolutely cooked. Because this was just a sloppy crime. You could tell they thought that they were being cautious. They thought they were being calculated. For instance, things like coming into the back door. So she was the only one that came into the front door of the Airbnb. Then she unlocked it and um, let all the guys in the back. She said that she came in there alone, but when the Airbnb has a microphone, so you can hear her talking to other people. So they didn't account for the microphone. They didn't really account for a lot of things in this mission. Again, when you kill somebody, you kind of got to be perfect. They were far from perfect here. Their cars are tracked riding together. They all staying in the same Airbnb. I guess they just thought them going in the back door would throw the cops off. When you kill somebody famous, you're gonna have to do more than that to throw the cops off. You can't just say, "Well, we're just gonna go through the back door." You can't do that. They just should have got two separate Airbnbs. She shouldn't have been with them. She shouldn't have been with them. It should have been as few people as possible. You got to be pretty much perfect, and I'm not condoning doing this, but they were just far from perfect, man, and they made a lot of mistakes. Now, towards the end of this trial, Alicia Andrews did bring up some domestic violence stuff. I think this is a play. I think this is a play from her and Gutazay so she could get as little time as possible. And I think it worked. She did say that Gutazay was manipulating her. And they did seem to have a toxic relationship. The toxic relationship stuff definitely plays in the female's favor because it looks like the guy is the controlling one. He's the bigger one. He's the badder, the tougher one, the stronger one. So that definitely played into her favor. Then she kind of strayed away from not knowing anything. She kind of made it seem like she was just doing whatever he said to please him, and she was oblivious to the situation because she was basically trained by him to not ask questions. Which that is a little bit of a smarter defense, basically saying, "Hey, I didn't want to know any details." He yells at me when I ask details. He screams at me when I ask details. We start fighting if I ask too many details. So I just shut up and do what I'm told. That's kind of what I'm used to. That is kind of a good defense. People are going to feel sorry for you. It's a lot of females who are in situations like that. So that made sense on her part. And maybe that has something to do with her only getting a manslaughter. Y'all get in the comments to let me know what y'all think. RIP Julio Foolio, man. Urban Artificial Intelligence Strategic Thinking Media Platform. I'm going to see y'all in the next episode. Peace.